Hope I say these names right. Hey, y'all. Hey. Listen, the stuff that goes on before we come online. Listen, we
no comment.
Welcome to the 17th episode of Theories and Thoughts with Arnya and
Fancy.
Wait, I was listening to the episodes, because I listen to them.
I be sounding so dead. I already know.
You're like, Fancy.
I don't know. I don't know. But I said I was gonna try to liven it up a little, and also because when I looked at my live from earlier today and I saw how I looked, I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot better, like to erase the memory of earlier. So here I am. Greetings, y'all.
It was so funny because I'm like, hey, and you're like, Fancy. Wait, no, technical difficulties. Why is she frozen? She be back. She may be talking to y'all.
I'm sorry. You're coming in.
Y'all, technology though. Can we get a break? Can we get a
or a wine sponsor? We just like sip the wine throughout the whole episode or each episode. But so you ready for our news?
Yes. Sorry. I was like, what is going on? Congratulations to Patrick Mahomes. He becomes the third Black quarterback to win the Super Bowl as him and the Arizona. Is it the Arizona Cardinals? No.
Kansas City.
I knew I was gonna mess it up. I should have put it in my notes. Y'all don't talk about me. I was like, I need to put what team he's on. I just know it's red. And he's from Texas. And that the boy who plays quarterback for the Cardinals is from Texas too. But Patrick also went to Texas Tech. So it was the first quarterback from a Texas team to win the Super Bowl at the age of 24. Wow. He's from right outside of Dallas, Tyler. So, it's like a big deal here. And yeah. So congratulations to him and the Kansas City
Chiefs.
And at least I know that it's Kansas City, Missouri, and not Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah, that's really good. And also, just to note some other Black quarterbacks that came before him. I guess you could say that they crawled so that he could walk. There was the Washington Redskins quarterback Doug Williams in 1988. And
Gremlin, right?
What'd you say?
Gremlin?
I do not know. I'm not certain about that one. But actually, for those who may have read the recap on the website, Vince noted this like within his recap. So, and then in 2014, it was Russell Wilson. So this is like a really big thing. And one thing that I was trying to understand though is I was kind of looking at the different news stories. They're saying that he's expected to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. But one of the guys said something to say that he expect the number to begin with a 4 as opposed to a 3. So I was kind of curious about like what that meant. Do they normally start them off at like $3 million or something? I don't know. I don't even begin to know what they may start them off with, but I'm just curious as to why that was such a big deal, And if anybody has any comments or can, educate us on that, I'd be interested. But Yeah, that's all I have to say on that matter. But congratulations to him. I feel like you've been working on your makeup the whole time. Like,
no, listen, she just saying my eyeshadow popping. Thank you. I was just sitting here, full transparency. I was just like, I look old as hell. But if y'all go to my Facebook page, y'all see I look cute tonight. I don't know if it's the light or what's up, but I do not look camera ready to myself tonight. But that's here nor there. Okay. Mase responds to P. Diddy's pre-Grammy speech. But wait, former B.I.G. collaborator Lil Shawn and the owner of Behind the Smoke TV has words for Mase. Now, this was funny because last week we kind of talked about it, and you were like, P. Diddy and his practices. I want to say you hinted at it that he hasn't been the best person. He wasn't the best person to kind of talk about it. What?
No, I'm like, hold on. You like, I know Diddy or something. The way you saying it's like he and I have. I'm just saying there have been allegations.
Right. And Mase put it all out in the street. Mase put all his business out in the street, honey. But in the end, Lil Shawn, a B.I.G. collaborator, he basically said that Mase walked away with the bag. So I read his IG post, and you can go to Behind the Smoke TV on Instagram. He basically said that Mase signed a contract, a publishing deal, and didn't publish with Diddy. He retired from rap. So really, he's the one that's up after he made all these accusations towards P. Diddy. So I thought that was interesting. I always, whenever it comes to stuff like this, I knew there had been some unfair practices that a lot of people said that P. Diddy had done, but I felt like the speech was so grand that I didn't want to really just, be like, hey, Nikki. I didn't want to be like, and take away from the speech. But then when Mase brought it up, I was like, oh, dang, okay. And then Lil Shawn came, and I was like, oh, well, here's another, wood in the fire. Your thoughts?
I was really interested in this. I had first off, I wanted to know who Lil Shawn was. So I did see that he was an artist and so on, and he used to work with Notorious B.I.G. He did some time in jail. So I was just kind of curious as to because then I'm always kind of looking at the backstory. I see that he seems to speak quite a bit, but from what he shared, I do agree that it seems like maybe Mase should not have been commenting on the speech, or just he wasn't giving us the full story. But as a business owner, one thing that I was really looking at and just kind of thinking about at the time period, because what's her name? Khalees just recently spoke out about how the situation with her and Pharrell. So I was kind of thinking it seems to be a big similarity between these artists and just kind of them trusting people because they thought they were their friends. And so I think it kind of brings again to the whole fact of you really have to read over your contracts. Business is business and personal is personal. So you can't just go into these situations think, oh, this is my person, they're gonna hook me up. But then at the same time, when I was looking at the time frame of things, I was kind of thinking that maybe back then we weren't as about our business as we are now. So not only do you have your friend coming to you with these propositions, but you also have someone that looks like you, because as one person put on Twitter, I thought was a really good tweet. In so many words, what she was saying is that Black people exploit other Black people as well. Don't get it twisted. Don't think just because, this person is Black, they're going to always have your best interest at heart. And of course, I love the Black community, but I just think that as we're seeing more and more of this, and then we're shocked, oh my God, so-and-so did this. But this type of thing has been going on for quite some time. So if Mase really got the bag, just let it go. And a lot of people seem like they really need to let it go, especially I'm 35 and I'm looking at a lot of these people that's still holding on to these things that happened years ago. And we saw them succeed in other areas. Just let it go. But that's my thought on the matter.
I agree. But when it comes to money, sometimes it's hard to let go.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if you didn't really have it, can you really miss it a lot of the times? And then I also think you can block your blessings just sitting around harping on stuff. Like one thing that life has really taught me is people always get, karma comes and comes back around. So you may not necessarily see what the outcome was, how they got it back, but I assure you, 9 out of 10, they got it back. This just seems to be how the universe works. So I just kind of think, and also I don't know. I just think he needs to let it go. Somebody else we were talking about the other day needs to let it go too, but I'm just like, hey, I ain't going to go into that. Go into that. But yeah. And then you don't do business with those people again, of course. I mean, I do agree with him there.
I mean, you have to, just because it's your friend, as you said, you have to be mindful of that. Business is business, and a business relationship is a business relationship is a business relationship. A personal relationship is a personal relationship. It's always been rumored that Diddy didn't do well in business with other people's stuff, and then, as he said, you can look at everybody. No, I was looking at Tasha K on YouTube, and she was saying that anybody who Diddy has touched, hey Patricia, they're not in a better situation. And you should always try, especially in business, try to put people in a better situation. Hey Jamel, I think about my baby daddy Rick Ross. Meek, Wale. I feel like Wale's in a better position. Meek is in a better position. Those two people that was under his label, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. So
I don't know.
I feel like you should put people back in a better situation. So that's where I'm at, and we should come together as a community. We can't talk about other people. As Mase said, we can't talk about other people messing over us when we're doing it, and especially if you're the person that's doing the messing over. So that's my theory. So our last news is Swiss Beats buys Alicia Keys her own tea line. I'm here for it. I love tea, and it's going to be at Starbucks. I love tea. Like, that's my favorite thing. And if that's her favorite thing, I absolutely adore it, because you can buy me roses, they're going to wither away. You can buy me clothes, I can give them away, I'm going to wear them out. But if you buy me a business, he bought her a business. I'm here for it. I love it. I love everything about it. You're not just thinking about me, you're thinking about our family, especially for a person who may have it all too. Who may have it all, who's Alicia Keys. It's one of those things that you see the memes where it says, well, if your husband says, let's not have a wedding and let me pay off your debt, or let me not buy you that bag, let me pay off this. I think I'll be okay with that. I'll be like, okay, let's do this, because I know in the long run I could get those things that I want. As Dave Ramsey says, live like no one else so I can live like no one else. So.
Yep. I agree with all of that. I think it was a really great gift. I didn't even think about like so much the longevity of it, but I like that you mentioned that. And basically, I mean, I would really wanted to know what is the best gift that some of our audience has received. And I asked this also when we first shared this post, because I was just kind of curious. But I mean, like, we've been talking about like, basically what you just said, don't buy me this, just get me that, or whatever. It might be more business minded and might actually increase your income or add another stream of income in. So I think it's a really great idea. And they're approaching, I don't know when exactly they got married in 2010, but they're about to be hitting their 10th year anniversary. So kudos to them. And that was just such a sweet gift. I hope more men take example. Like, if somebody just want to, donate to my business for Valentine's Day, I am more than happy. Well, we just, Swagger Mag, PayPal me, Cash Out me, something here.
That part. I mean, I think it's an awesome gesture. How many people think like that? But that's when a man thinks business minded. He knows what his woman likes. You can buy me flowers anytime.
One thing I kept wondering about though was how much, like, does she really like tea? And everyone's sharing about the tea line, but nobody has really said, she's like an avid tea drinker or her favorite tea, anything like that. I was just kind of curious about that, but that's just, y'all know how I be about stuff. So, but congratulations. And I like tea myself, so I'll be looking forward to that also.
I'm going to try it. All right, our sponsor.
So, our sponsor for this week is Kilpatrick Business Services, which is actually launching tomorrow, correct, Anya?
Correct.
All right, so it's going to be, I'm sorry, because it is a new business, and I want to make certain that I have this correct for you all. So the mission of Kilpatrick Business Services is to provide administrative and concierge services to small business owners, entrepreneurs, and busy professionals. If you have a minute, you can visit their website, and let me pull that up for you all. And she actually has a special that is going on. Sorry, wrong thing there.
Okay.
Okay, y'all, look, I started back trying to use our agenda, and apparently it's still not working right. But I will, if Jarmel is on, Jarmel, please leave Miss Kilpatrick's website in the comments for us, if you don't mind. But you all do support this. This is Miss Kilpatrick is located in the Baton Rouge area, but you all, I'm certain that she could probably take on clients in other locations as well. So do check her out, and congratulate her on her opening of her new business. But
for those that's audio, her website is kilpatrickbusinessservices.com.
Thank you. I like that you noticed that. All right. So we have a guest this evening, and
I feel like it's sticking up.
Let me go ahead on and just tell you all about him before I actually bring him in. He has been waiting patiently for us, so I do apologize about the steady delay. But it was something weird reading somebody's bio and they didn't right there. I don't know. But
they're like looking at you like, what you gonna say?
I'm gonna read what was on the site. So and I might kind of paraphrase it a little. But tonight we have with us Jay Barnett. Jay is a former professional football player turned author, speaker, and now marriage and family therapist. Intern with over 10 years of highly skilled and acclaimed mentoring and success stories. Jay's views are radically different. He appreciates and shares with his mentees that leadership is a moment-to-moment choice and not about titles and positions. And he's also the author of the best-selling books, Finding Our Lost Kings and Queens, Strategies for Empowering Our Future Kings and Queens, and best-selling book, the best-selling author of Letters to a Young Queen, Redefining Their Throne. His poignant letters to young queens have been shared with young girls around the world, creating conversations of healing, self-love, self-worth, confidence, and personal victories. Also, his book, Hello King, A Book for Your Men. Yeah, I feel like I'm reading so horrible right now. I feel like that person in class that just be like, oh my God, stop reading. But you know what is even better? That we already have Jay on. I'm going to let him just reintroduce himself because I don't like how that went at all. I'm sorry, Jay. Let me pull you in. Just, join the conversation.
Sorry, Jay. And Jay lives in Dallas. I was like, okay, we're going to have to do lunch or something.
He's like, if y'all don't come on here, women, I'm sorry. It's women.
Hey, Jay.
How y'all doing?
You are officially our first male guest.
Okay. Awesome.
And we have been getting compliments about you. I said beauty and brains.
So, I kind of screwed up your bio a little. Can you just, introduce yourself again, please?
Let's see. I'm an author, speaker, mentor, and family therapist. And I think you shared earlier in the bio, former professional football player. So that's been so long ago, about 13, 14 years ago. So I just kind of reside in the family therapist, speaker, and author realm right now. So
okay,
who did you play for?
I was a free agent to the Packers in 2006, and I spent 2 years in the Arena League.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did you hear how I jacked up who won the Super Bowl?
I didn't catch all of it. I did catch the part where you guys were speaking about Patrick Mahomes possibly a new contract. So I did see that.
I messed that all up. Welcome to our show, Theories and Thoughts.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Our topic tonight, you guys, is the disconnect between Black men and Black women. So we have a Black man to discuss. Why are you looking like that, Fancy?
I'm letting you go.
Oh. And sorry, I'm goofy. Fancy normally does this part. I don't know why I'm doing it.
Okay.
She normally does the intro and start off with the questions. Anyway, my first question is, do you feel like there's a disconnect between Black men and Black women? And if so, where do you think it comes from?
Yes, there is a disconnect. And I think the disconnect starts from the home. The disconnect starts from the foundation that many of us have, and many of us have a rocky foundation because of dysfunctional family patterns and dysfunctional ways of communicating. And so anytime that you're looking at models that have been exhibited before any individual, male or female, sometimes it can kind of taint our perceptions of one another. And so I do think sometimes as people of color, we can be very defensive and very emotional in certain dynamics, because as a Black man, he feels that, he has to sort of kind of protect himself from the world. And then you have the Black woman who feels like she has to defend herself, in her position in the world. So it's just, it's a huge disconnect. And I think one of the things is that we have to have dialogue and conversation, not so much about why there is a disconnect, but how do we bridge the gap to connect better to where we may not agree on everything, but maybe we're able to embrace each other's differences.
I like that, because I always feel that it stems from the home. As a young woman, you're always told, take care of yourself. You don't need nobody to do nothing for you. And then as a Black man, take care of yourself because you don't want no woman to you don't want to have to depend on no woman. When in actuality, in my thoughts, and I'm no professional by any stretch, but in my thoughts is we have to depend on one another, especially when we're in a relationship. So then there's conflict because we had these different voices in our ears telling us different narratives. And now we're with this person, and a lot of times they don't know how to. And then they come up and they meet someone. They meet someone who has the caliber that they want and may be everything, but they don't know how to handle it. Even if where it's a woman that has been healed or a man that's been healed. If a broken woman meets a man that's healed, she don't know how to handle it. She don't know how to handle the situation. So how do we go from there? How do we say, you know what? I'm broken. Maybe I went to a little therapy, but I want to be here with him. How do we go from there?
I think you go from there by most definitely providing a safe space. And I think many of us, right, we come from homes that were very judgmental. And especially, I know for myself, I grew up in a very religious home. My father was a pastor. And so, we kind of grew up in a very restricted environment. And, you didn't really have an opportunity to express yourself about how you felt. And so a lot of those, and I use the word dysfunctional a lot because just a lot of the things that we've adopted as just our behavior, and it's become part of us. It's not healthy, right? Because, we kind of take these practices and patterns into our adult life, and we begin to function in them. Then we realize that it doesn't work in everybody's system. And so, and as you spoke of, that we all come from these different backgrounds, and we've been shaped by different things. And so, as you said, you talk about the woman who's kind of felt like she had to protect herself and she had to defend herself. So she's worked for everything that she's got. She's successful, but behind the success, there's this little girl that really wants to be held because maybe she was not validated by dad, right? So her defense mechanism is always that I have to protect the little girl in me. And the only way that I can protect the little girl is I have to keep anyone away that looks like they can break this wall to see who the little girl is on the other side. So the guy in that case has to, number one, be very patient, right? And vice versa, right? And I mean, and if you are wanting to continue knowing that this person has broken pieces of them, because we all are fragmented and we all are broken in some spaces. And as you speak about an individual who's been on a journey of healing, right, it can be very challenging because sometimes you feel like, man, I have to reach back to pull this person up. And sometimes if the person you with becomes the healer, so to speak, it later on creates resentment because now I have become the medicine to your illness, and I have to kind of go through this space where I am trying to see you to wholeness, while eventually it could potentially make me sick, in a sense, emotionally. So I think, what we don't do, I know today, is like we don't really have real conversations when it comes to dating, and when it comes to actually conversing about what is it that you have a desire for, what does a healthy relationship look like, or do you even know what that looks like? And not as in, and a lot of times, people think that the question is based on skepticism, but I think it's really just having an understanding of who you're dealing with. Because if I have an understanding of what shaped you, it gives me a better opportunity on how to navigate, in certain spaces as it pertains to how we engage.
Yeah. Fancy.
Okay, well, you jump right into the into the main question, but you just said like a mouthful there. And at the same time, what I kind of wanted to ask about was more so like in that example, which I know that you said, it could be interchangeable, whether it be the woman or the man that is healed. But initially, and kind of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you, just for those who don't know, as I mentioned in the live earlier today, like Jay was in one of our issues, and one thing that you mentioned then, you were just saying how like the Black woman has been so empowered that that it's creating a distance between the two. But at the same time, you also addressed kind of like the mental health aspect of things and men being emotional, and I kind of wanted you to just kind of touch on that a little bit as well, because like we, especially I feel like as women, we tend to be the ones that are trying to go through the healing process. We're kind of, for the majority of us, is already going through the process or have finished the process, whereas it's not so much that way with our men. And then it's kind of crazy because even though we keep having these conversations about mental health and, just unhealthy relationships, it's like men aren't just totally listening here, or they aren't just, they aren't grasping it. So can you speak a little bit about that? Because I want these men to like really, tap into this wisdom that you have here.
Yeah. So and I mean, and you're right. I think women have a great head start on men. I mean, you guys do phenomenal coming together, really supporting each other and building these coalitions to support the sisters. And one of the things is I speak at tons of women empowerment events, and many times, I'm kind of like the only guy there, and sometimes I'm watching the behavior of women and kind of how they interact. And I grew up in a household where I'm the only boy, and my mom has 12 sisters, and so I have sisters. So I grew up around a lot of women, and I think one of the things is that we get so caught up in the argument and the banter of how we're so different. But I think that was God's way of, I think one of you said it earlier, of how we really need each other, right? That's the great balance, to testosterone is estrogen. And then the balance of estrogen is testosterone. So you need them both to coexist in the same space to kind of create the balance. And I think when it comes to men, we have been we have really been pushed to a side, and not only just from society, but many of us were raised by men who were not emotionally available, or even emotionally connected. You know, there's a lot of teens that I've worked with, that I've mentored, that their dads are there, but they're not emotionally there. And the dad thinks because he, you know, pays the bills and he puts food on the table that, hey, you know, this is enough. But I think one of the components that we really have to press in, just for Black men, is being emotionally available, and that is okay. Because, you know, for the women that are out there listening, even for the guys, men are just as emotional as women. You know what I mean? It comes out in different facets, and how we respond to it, but we're just as emotional. And I'll go as far as men get emotionally connected during sex too. You know, and I'll push it there, because there's this whole, there's this thing that feels like, you know, men don't really engage emotionally, and it's only physical. And any man that does not have the ability to tap into who he is emotionally will not only destroy the woman that he's connected to, but he'll destroy everything around him. So it's dangerous when a man don't connect to the emotional parts of him and he's trying not to feel. Because if you don't feel in that way, this is why we have a lot of men who are abusive, right? They don't know how to express themselves in a very healthy manner in emotion. And I encourage men to tap into that space, and especially, you know, and I've been blessed to have a platform to where God has used my story and my testimony to talk about depression and suicide, and to really be vulnerable, and just says, when you're vulnerable, it's not showing that you're weak, it's really showing how strong you are. Because one of the things is that I tell men is that it's, we need to be able to connect more to women from an emotional standpoint than just seeing women as this need to be a way to meet our physical need, or to be pleasurable in a sense. And it's just one of those things to where, you know, there's a shift in the mental health field, and as you said, we got to see more men speaking about it on this platform. You see Charlemagne, the guy, talking about it. And one of the things I like that he talked about,
Charlemagne.
It's even great to hear him speak about how he had to evolve as a husband, right? Because some of us, again, what we've been shown and what was exhibited before us was very dysfunctional, was very toxic, very unhealthy, and very destructive. You know, it's like, I got a wife, but, you know, if someone else, you know, come through, and wife may not know, you know, so all of these very dysfunctional and very divisive ways that we've adopted and made it okay. And one of the things I think that just really breaks my heart, especially because I work with a lot of young people, to where I've worked with young girls that being a side chick is their goal, because we've made sex easy, we've made connecting, you know what I'm saying, become a thing to where we just can connect, but we don't really have encounters. So all of these things have really turned us off emotionally. So when people get in a relationship and you do meet somebody who's emotionally available and who's emotionally ready, you're looking at them like, kind of like, oh, you on some lame stuff, like, nah, you know, and you have this whole this savage mentality, but the reality of it, right? Even those with the savage mentality are really looking for love.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Because a lot of times, and not to, you know, just to say, you know, whatever, I meet guys and they're like, you're too good to be true. And I'm like, why? Because I've did the healing. I've gone to therapy. One of the things that happened with me, and I'll share, is, like you said, the father is the provider. And my dad was a provider, but he was emotional, but I didn't really feel like he was emotional. And we talked about things until I was grown. And once I became a woman, we was able to talk about different things. And we have the best relationship now, you know, and I'm his power of attorney. So that tells you how our relationship is. But it took some time. But as an adult, I had to be open to that process. And when you bring in the the black of it all, you know, we can talk about men and women dynamics all the time. But when we look at black men and black women, do we actually value each other? Is that connect?
Yeah.
Is that we are not valuing each other? We don't see, you know, black men don't see us as a trophy, and black women don't see a black man as someone who could love her because of what she's experienced. Sorry, Fancy. I just said a bunch of stuff I was thinking.
I know. The last thing kind of made me wonder. I was like, you know, I don't know about the black woman. Does the black woman wonder? But I do wonder about, does the black man really value the black woman? Because it do seem like like.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think black men? Do you guys think black men devalue black women?
I personally think that some don't. They see us as a worker, as the person that we can work our butts off, but we're not to be treasured. A lot of times, it's just society. A lot of times you don't see that. They don't see us as a trophy, you know, as something to be honored. We can work our butts off and, you know, be there, look out for them. But when it's time to really get to that new platform, they need something that looks a little bit different than what we look like.
Yeah.
And that's what causes, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. No.
I think that's what causes women, a lot of black women also, to change up their features and their bodies because of that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and this is, you know, and I'm going to dive off on the deep end from an emotional and from a psychotherapy perspective. And it's a lot deeper than what we really give attention to at times. And this is a conversation I've had with a lot of black men. And again, there's so much that we have to unpack when it comes to us as a people, right? Just as a people, we don't value ourselves. And so when we don't value ourselves, it's hard for us to value each other who reside in, you know what I'm saying, the community of who we are. So many times, like, you know, I question, as being a former athlete, you know, you see a lot of black guys who would marry outside of the race. And I'm the type of guy, like, I ask questions and it's never about I'm being inquisitive or being nosy, but I often like to know, I love to know the background and backstory of why someone made a certain decision. And what I came to realize is that, and this is why it's so important to have a strong male in the home to balance our views. Because many of us function from a very cognitive, distorted place, to where the experiences, the trauma that we have created so many different inaccurate perspectives on our reality. And there's been so much dysfunctional between the dynamic of the mom and the son. So the son begins to resent who the mom is. So a lot of black men, I've heard them say that they resent their moms. So it's the reason why, very, very, and this is why they move outside the race, because I've heard guys say, man, I love my mother, but I don't want anyone like her. You know what I mean? And so that kind of get connected to how he sees other black women because of his experience with his mom, because there's a lot of emotional incest. And as you know, black women, who are raising sons, sometimes that relationship can be very tainted. And so the boy feels like, man, I got to carry the load. I got to be this. I got to be that. I couldn't be a teenager, so I had to be my mom's surrogate husband. And so, and that's just, that's just one aspect of it. And one of the things is that there's no one there to help to sort all of that out. Why is it that you feel that way? Because again, I've been in relationships where, I'm just kind of like, man, really, they were not so good experience, but it could never push me to devalue a black woman and to see her less than because I had one bad experience, with another woman. And this is why when you have people like Lonnie Love make these comments, publicly, it's You know what I'm saying? So it for me, I'm like, that's just one experience, or I'm sorry that the outcome that you wanted, has not happened for you. And that's great that you found love from another race and all that. But again, we have to be careful of pushing these messages, because what are we saying to the world? And again, there are some Black men that are faithful, some Black men that are really doing amazing things. They love their wives, they love their families. And so we have to be careful with the social messages that we push through the media. And, and that way our children can value who they are. That way young Black girls can say, you know what, whether I'm light skinned or brown skinned, I'm beautiful no matter what, makeup or not, whether I got Fenty on or whether I got a bare face, I'm going to be embraced and loved for who I am. And so as a whole, it's so much work that has to be done. But, it has to be done from the family aspect. And, that's why shows like Black Love are so instrumental to our, development from the family structure, because we need to see healthy relationships, because the majority of us, and I know growing up in a home where my parents were church leaders, like, we didn't see a healthy side. God was talked about, but it was an exercise.
Okay, look, I'm still just kind of like, I had another question to form in the midst of all this, but it's like you start trying to take everything in.
It's a lot, man. When you talk about relationship, and that's why I think too, when you're dating people, and I'll just be transparent. I know for me it's very challenging, because here I am, a Black man that's a therapist, and I just be honest, I hate saying that to women, because automatically they think I'm analyzing them. They think I'm like, and I'm like, do I observe behavior? Absolutely. And I think that we all should, right? Because again, the observation of behavior, it's not like you're detecting a red flag, but you're making mental notes. You know what I mean? And you have to make mental notes, because we're all creatures of habits. And for me, I want to understand what the behavior is connected to. It's like when I'm sitting couples are in my office, and you know what I mean? And so, but it's challenging, because again, I've done a lot of work, and I'm continuing to do the work, because again, the more you are working with people, the more you see certain parts of yourself. And it's challenging. And I can only imagine for women who have been on this healing journey for years, right? And all of a sudden, you ask a guy like, yo, what was your childhood like? And he's like, what you mean? You know what I mean? So it's like, no, and I hate asking women those questions, but they're important to me, right?
They are.
Because again, I need to understand, how do you view not only just yourself, but how do you view family?
Right.
Well, this was not my question, but since look, I have been with all the business women questions. Like, I think my upbringing, everything has kind of been totally opposite for me. I will say that, other than my dad not really us really having a close relationship, but I'm certain now there probably did play some type of effect, some part in my life, but it wasn't really all that major in a lot of aspects, I don't think. But, and I'm not saying that Anya's was or anything, but I'm just like, it's something that I just feel like I'm good on that, basically. But what I really like, that what you just said, that I've just been learning about, is the whole family aspect of things. Just like, if a man isn't able to actually, like, if he doesn't value family, then he's never going to really be able to live up to that. I don't even want to say the ideal of what you have, but even just, the roles, of a family man or of a father. And actually, that's something that I just witnessed personally. And I didn't even realize that sort of thing like really existed. You just kind of think that, I don't know, any adult person would kind of value kids, you know, especially the day and age that we're in now, and just we're talking more about our youth and trying to do more for them. But then there are a lot of men out here that just really don't seem to, you know, like everything is just, even when you asked about like, do we feel like Black men value Black women? I don't even know if men just, I'm wondering if they even value love. You know, that's kind of one of my questions, like, because now everybody's so materialistic and everything is about getting ahead, you know, like, are we even still caring, like, hey, at the end of the day, when all of this is done, we're gonna want someone to be here with us, you know, you want someone to grow old with. But it just seems like none of that is really, and I guess kind of also still a media thing as well, you know, something else that we could be helping to try to work with as a media outlet also. But just, you know, just everybody's securing the bag. Like, you know, what happens after you got
and, you know, and I'll be honest, you're right. And guess what? There's a lot of people securing bags who are broken. And again, that, you know, securing a bag does not equate to emotional and mental maturity to a level to where you can be stable enough to be sound in a relationship. And you're right, we have placed so much attention on securing a bag and a persona that, you know, we want to look like we're put together. But then you get involved with these people, you realize these people don't have the ability to understand conflict and resolution. These people don't have the ability to express. They don't understand their pain resolve. And then you're asking these questions to where you're not asking these questions that you're probing, but you're asking these questions like, how else do we engage, or how else do I interact, to where we become overly connected because of social media, but we're under commune to where we don't commune. Like when you commune, I am communing, coming in, you know what I'm saying, to where I am becoming intimate with you. And when you really understand intimate, it goes far beyond sex. It goes to where I am willing to show you the parts of me that I don't show to the world, or that I'm even afraid to even address, but I trust this space because, you know, this culture is very sad because nobody really wants to show their feelings.
Right. They don't want to show their hands.
Like I did just
and you know, and we you know, we push songs, you know, I mean, to where, you know, you don't show your feelings, you know, this is all about the savage. It's like, you know, I'm gonna get mine, you get yours. And you're right. And we're getting to a place to where there's no real connection to even begin to build a family unit, let alone having a stable and sustainable relationship. Because everything that we are that are pulling us are attractors, right? She got a big butt, you know what I'm saying? She popping, like, bro, she a bad chick, or, you know what I'm saying, he's doing this thing or whatever. They're all attractors, but we're not giving attention to what are the sustainers. What actually sustain a relationship goes back to, what are your values? Do you value family?
Right.
Because as you said, you know, you can be with somebody, they can be good people, but you may not share the same core values. And at that point, I have to bow out gracefully, right? Because for me, if you want to build something healthy, something stable, not perfect, because we all are you know, beings that are trying to be daily, but how do we grow together, you know, from different places, right? And how do we bring our backgrounds together for something greater than us? And it's very scary because even the kids, right? I mean, you know, you get to talk about relationships, man. Everybody's like, oh no, you know,
right?
And so it's a very convoluted, you know what I'm saying, dynamic that, you know, we have between men and women. And I feel like everybody just sees each other as opportunity, whether it's an opportunity to get a bag, opportunity for sex, opportunity to get on somebody's platform, opportunity, you know what I'm saying, for a connection. It's just, we become a very opportunities and very narcissistic society.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, Anya, do you have any other questions? Or Jay, do you have anything that you want to, you know, say before we wrap up?
Oh, yeah, I just want to encourage everyone, right, to, you know, I know that we didn't touch on this. As a man, when it's been over a week now since the passing of Kobe, and for me, even though I've been on this journey for a while and I've been building people, that's what I do. I build young people, and I absolutely love it, and just really want to encourage people to really focus on living a purposeful life and focus on growing themselves, in all areas. And so many times we are so focused on trying to get to a destination, and we forget to work on ourselves before we get to that place that we're trying to get to. Because it's just as important that we do the work on the inside as we're working on our exterior, right? We're working on enhancing our body, enhancing, our skin, enhancing our hair, enhancing everything that is external, but very little work is being done on, are you dealing with the issues of your soul? Are you dealing with the issues of your childhood traumas? That way, when you connect with people, right, you can connect from a very authentic and a very organic place. That way you can identify who are the people that will take the journey with you, and then who are the people that can't take that journey with you. Doesn't mean that they're bad people, but being able to make that decision, from a healthy place and not from an emotional place that says, hey, you're great. I think you got some great attributes, and then move from that place. And me personally, I think we all are potentials for hopeful potentials, where we see potential in people and we just hope that they turn that corner.
Yeah.
It's like, and one of the things is I sit in and I listen to couples, man, and it's just kind of like, gosh, man, like, how long has this been going on? And if no one is doing the work, before you meet them, it's going to be very challenging to be able to move in purpose with them.
Ooh.
Because you got to see the benefit, you got to see the value in doing the work. And I commend you ladies for what you're doing with your platform. I'm truly inspired by it. I'm always inspired by women who are doing the work. Oh my gosh, man. It's a beautiful thing to see. And that's what I took from Kobe's journey, is that, you had the people talking about what happened in Colorado, man, the hell with that, right? But
Right.
It was the fact that he got to a place where he realized there's something in me that I need to work on. And he began to do the work, and he began evolving as a husband, as a father, and as a man. And that, it spoke volumes to me, right? Because I think Muhammad Ali said, a man who looks at life at 50 the same as he did at 20 has just wasted 30 years of his life. And so hopefully that we can continue to evolve into the best version of ourselves. And most definitely, whether it's through a therapist or a life coach or a counselor, find someone that will hold up the mirror for you to see yourself as we don't want to see, and challenge you to see yourself in a better perspective.
Y'all was just so like, okay, he just dropped so much knowledge and wisdom.
I know, because I was like, I'm always telling people, don't connect with someone on a trauma level, because that's all you have. And I always say also that just because a person is a good person doesn't mean that they're a good person for me. Even to what Fancy has said, people don't value family. People ask me all the time, why you don't have any kids? I'm like, because I wanted to be married. What's wrong with that? So even with all that, the conversation has been really, really, really good. And we thank you for joining. We're going to have to collab, like I said, with you on something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I can already say I want you to come back and talk about this emotional incest thing, because like,
oh man,
it was crazy that you even brought that up. I didn't even want to get into it, but I promise I thought of it a little bit earlier today. So just, yeah.
It's deep, and it's on both sides. It's on both sides where the father and the daughter, and for the listeners, basically, so emotional incest is the parent doesn't actually have a sexual relationship with the child, but the relationship is emotionally connected to where the parent is it's adamant about remaining connected, remaining attached, remaining, you know what I'm saying, a part of their decision making. And I think T.D. Jakes, him and his wife did this message on model homes. And one of the things he said, most Black men are married to two women, to their wives and to their mothers. And that's from the emotional incest. And it's from the very unhealthy, very dangerous connection, because now the son has taken the place of the man that she always wanted or the man that she's never had. So when the son gets married, now there's this competition between his wife. And so, and I think for men, if you're dating or you're planning on marrying, you have to create boundaries, you know, for your mother. You have to create boundaries. Then your mom should not be and I'll tell you, and I'll go a step further. I'm very big on transparent. I love my mom to the moon and back. And we had a conversation about 3 weeks ago. And I said, Mom, I value your opinion. You know, I love you. I think you're an amazing woman. But I said, what I can't do is I can't allow you to be involved in the decision that I make about my love life. I thank you for your prayers, but I cannot, because now I am placing you in the position of God. And if you trust the God that you put in me, knowing that he will guide me, that you don't have to, because parents,
come on now.
A lot of parents will some way insert their opinion, right? Lackadaisic, to where, you know, I'm not telling you what to do, but I know my voice is louder than the voice that you have of your own. And that's very dangerous, because I had to tell my mom, I said, listen, whoever I marry, whoever it is, I got to lay down with her. I got to, you know what I mean? And you know, being able to set that boundary early and understanding what boundaries are. They are barriers. That's what they are. They are barriers.
Oh, you just stepped all over my toes. Can we wrap up now?
Okay. Yeah.
Insurance.
Again, thank you, Jay, for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
And I do have I got his, so that you all can connect with him. I got him together. If nobody else, you good. So y'all can definitely check him out. Follow him on Instagram. Visit his website. Purchase his books. You know, and
website is www.jay-barnett.com. IG is King J Barnett. Twitter is King Jay Barnett. Fancy forgets we have, this is just video now, but we're
but that's why we're together, though. That's why it's a team effort. So, but
awesome. Thank you, ladies, for the awesome opportunity. Truly enjoyed it, and blessings to everyone that joined in tonight. So hopefully something that was said will bless them and ignite them to pursue the change that they're looking for.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
That was good. And we need to have him back on, especially as a male voice, and even do a collaboration, maybe do an event. That's why I was like, we need to go to lunch. I mean, I wasn't trying to flirt. I was just like, we need to, you know, so we can do some stuff. Because when men see another man step up and they're talking that real, they want to, you know, they listen, even though they may say that they're not. So I think that's awesome.
Okay, I was reading some of the comments, and you are right about the events. And also, even just one thing, when he said that about the events, I long ago said that whenever we go to these women's empowerment events, and like you bring along a spouse or something, the men are always just like, oh my God, that woman really said that. That woman really went through that. If I just looked at her, I never would have thought that, you know, so and so, so and so. And the thing is, more men need to be at these events. Like, you know, y'all need these events in some ways more than us, because we've been going to them for what, a few years now. So it's kind of getting repetitive for us. But if you all were to do the same things, you know, or at least maybe just come out and attend some with us. Maybe if there were more events that were geared toward couples or something, maybe that would be a good idea. But So, am I doing the event sponsor actually today?
Wait 1 second. Allison asked me, what's on my shirt? It's actually, wait, let me see. It's one of my friend's shirt. It's called, his name is Berkeley. The artist is his shirt. I love this shirt, y'all. It's so cute. And I was trying to get my eyeshadow and stuff to match it. So he's an entertainer out in New Orleans. He's a phenomenal singer. We went to high school together, and of course I'm supporting. So Berkeley, the artist. That's whose the shirt is, Allison. Don't forget, we have our TAT Never Thirsty tumblers available now on our website for $35. You can get them personalized. You can get them however way you like.
Yeah.
Tonight's event sponsor is the Women Are DOPE conference. Is a life-changing, eye-opening, spiritual awakening networking event designed to inspire, excite, ignite, and activate women who are ready to see their lives change, step into their visions, connect with other like-minded women, and learn how to live their best lives. Starting now. We're excited and anticipating an evening of divine motivation while enjoying a full 3-course meal served with sides of inspiration and spirituality, topped with useful tips on brand and business building, honing in on how to get your fire back. Last year, 2018, I guess it was supposed to be 2019. Our theme was Marry Your Dreams. This year, 2020, our theme is Rekindle the Flame. If life has knocked you down in any way, this is the event and networking while connecting experience for you.
All right. So, and that is the Women Are Dope event. I was trying to see if I had it set up, but it was not there. So, y'all, we're gonna so wow you all in a few weeks when we just have all our information just in here, because I don't know. It's like every Tuesday, my life gets extremely busy. So I do apologize for not having that in there, but I was trying to get it in. So my apologies about that. But I did definitely want to make certain that you all know that we are the official media sponsor of Women Empowerment Week 2020, which will be taking place in Louisiana. It started here in Baton Rouge. It has spread to the Acadiana area. And basically, it's just like a week long of women's events. It was founded initially by Sisters of Empowerment and their founder, Nadia Francois. So it started out kind of like it's just here in Baton Rouge, and then they began to also host events in Lafayette and like a lot of other little places along the way. So that week is going to be March the 20th, I want to say, but it's going to be from the 20th to maybe like the 27th. Don't quote me on those dates, but definitely check it out. What I wanted to tell you all though is if you're going to be hosting an event throughout that time period, and it's a women's event, why not connect with Nadia so that you can be a part of the Women's Empowerment Week as well. She's offering some free promo, and then we're offering travel books that we're going to be doing specifically for the week. So that is a paid promo. But again, because I see a lot of people, especially within this area, like getting their events out, please connect with Nadia. It's just like, why not? Let's support each other. So if you all have any questions about that, then you all can hit us up in the crawler, or you all can reach out to Sisters of Empowerment, and that's the STARS, that's SISTARS of Empowerment. So you all can visit their Facebook page or their website. They're on Instagram. Also, I think it's Sisters of Empowerment 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
She'll be on our show in March, the 3rd week, if I'm not mistaken, of March.
Okay. All right. And Anya, did you have any other announcements?
No other announcements. We have a live Rockstar Naturally will be doing the Oscars recap on Monday, February 10th, on our IG page. So do not miss that. She's excellent. I like to see what her hair gonna look like. She works than me. I know y'all be like, how's she wearing her hair this week? she's worse than me. I love her. And she loves fashion and she breaks it down, honey.
Oh
she
yeah. And she don't tell you who she don't like and who she did.
Right. And she knows the designers and everything. And I love it. So catch her at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time on our IG. The travel book placement. And
we do have our Love My Brand promo, which I'm no longer seeing a flyer. I wanted to show the flyer for you all, but we will be in Atlanta on the 21st, and we're thinking of doing a promo on the 22nd. If you all are interested, we're inviting 3 brands out. Like basically it's going to be a live interview, and then you get a website feature along with that. That is the basic package. And then if you like to actually be placed within one of the print issues, then we have an upgraded package for that as well. So if you all have any questions, then you all can reach us at our emails here. We're always open to guests and sponsors on the show, especially sponsors. We have quite a few guests lined up for until April?
For the middle of April.
Okay. So, but definitely if you're interested in, purchasing sponsorship, then you can hit us up. You can hit Anya, that's her email there. And also one thing I wanted to know, like one of the benefits of me wanted to just state is one of the benefits of us already having all of our guests kind of lined up for April, then, you might have a product or something that goes well with that person. So definitely hit us up if you're, looking to implement more into your marketing strategy. And I think that is all, y'all. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
One more thing.
Oh.
We are looking for a political analyst. Please email me at admin@swagher.net if you're interested.
Yeah, it seemed like we're looking for something else too now that you didn't say that, but
marketing, brand ambassadors, and journalists.
Okay, so there you go. All of it all right there. So peace and blessings, y'all. See y'all next week.
Bye.